it raw. I'm serving it raw. I'm serving it raw. It's wild. I'm serving it raw.
We never anticipated Drink Champs to blow at the level that it did. Because we had done Militainment Crazy Raw Radio, which I always jokingly say Nori named Militainment Crazy Raw Radio, and I named Drink Champs. Drink Champs. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference in the name, the branding part of that.
Yeah.
But Militainment Crazy Raw Radio, which was on Sirius XM,
yeah,
it was basically, Drink Champs. It looked and sounded like Drink Champs. It was done in my office down here in Kendall in South Miami, and we did it we didn't make a penny doing it. It was for free. Like it aired, I think it was weekly. It was a once a week show. And sometimes we had guests. I think maybe Fat Joe might have came through one, a couple guests that came through. But that did what it did, and it really didn't do much. But so the reason why I'm saying that is that I didn't think that necessarily doing Drink Champs was gonna be so much of a bigger situation. I thought it might be something that might do more than that, a little bit more, but I didn't think it was gonna be, out the box a hit.
Yeah.
So when Drink Champs came about, which is a long story in itself, but I'll try to shorten it for you, is that, we could do what we were doing there on Military Crazy Raw Radio, but without the restrictions of doing Sirius XM. We had to give them a certain amount of time, and had to be certain things that happen every once a week, and we had a mix show in it. Like, it's just restrictions that we had with that. So podcasting, the way it was pitched to me by my homie Godfrey, who has this podcast called Gamertag Radio. He's the one who really advocated it to me. He's like, yo, you could do what you were doing there, but you could do it as short as you want to do it, as long as you want to do it. There's no restrictions. You do it. You could put it out whenever you want to put it out. So that was the allure to trying to put together a podcast. And when it finally happened, which it took a while to really convince Nori to do it, for him to grasp, what it was. Because at the time, and this is where I think Drink Champs really helped when it came to hip hop podcasting for sure, and maybe in general podcasting, it was just looked at as this like nerdy computer nerd thing that people like podcasting. Like that's what computer nerds, be into. That's the way people looked at podcasting at the time.
Yeah.
They didn't see it, or it had to be like real informational. Like you had to be like on some like, like just like real detailed, and it couldn't just be loose. And so I think when we came on the scene, it was like a breath of fresh air for podcasting and for hip hop, because people wasn't really looking at the hip hop landscape for content like ours.
Yeah.
We were just like off the cuff. We were drinking, and we're just telling these stories and having fun while we're doing it. And so I think that really opened the floodgates for people to be like, yo, I think I could do that too. If these people could do it, I could do it too. And so I think we changed the game with that, but we didn't think it was going to be a big deal, man. We were told originally by CBS Radio was our first distributor, and it was just an audio format. And I already knew I wanted it to be filmed, so we started filming from day one.
Uh-huh.
But it was originally just audio. And they told us, I was like, yo, tell me what a successful podcast, like what are the numbers? And at that time they were like, well, if you can get like I think they said something like 30,000 downloads in a month or something like that, or in a week or some I don't remember accurately what the numbers were, but something like 30,000. They're like, you can make a couple G's a month, and that's considered like a successful podcast, a pretty successful podcast. And I'm like, okay, all right, I think we could do that.
One thing that I think you and Nora was able to do with Drink Champs was y'all were able to give hip hop a different spotlight, because all the stuff that you may have wanted to know with certain rappers, like, because in the 90s everything was kind of like, rumors and stuff like that. And so it's like whenever y'all have guests on and y'all are able to ask like, okay, what happened with this? And they're actually like able to tell it. It's like I can actually, since we were talking about Yayo, it's like the situation with Yayo is like everybody, a lot of people wonder like, okay, well, how did he, why wasn't he on Beg for Mercy, except on those few songs and stuff like that, and why his face is only on the cover and stuff like that. And it's like him having a chance to explain like, hey, I was on the run and I had the fake passport, and the damn, PO went through my shit and found out that was that situation. It's like all those stories that y'all are able to get from these artists and stuff like, oh, damn, I wanted to know about this, and I want to know about that. So, yeah.
And I think that and then, the drinking obviously loosens people up, But there's the one thing that I've always worried about, to be real honest with you, is I didn't want the drinking to be, even though it's called Drink Champs and we drink, I didn't want to be a negative influence on the culture or on the audience, where it's like we're making it cool to be a drunk or be an alcoholic or drink. And so that's always bothered me, like worried me, because we don't need that anymore in our culture. Like we don't need stuff like that added to the culture. So, but I feel pretty good that it seems like we've gotten past that, where people, they never really took it that way.
Gotcha.
I mean, don't get me wrong. So I'll go out to a restaurant or a bar or a club, and people trying to buy me shots and like, yo, and I'm like, yo, I'm not, nah, I ain't doing that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How the hell, like, man? How do y'all like? How do you focus with that shit, man?
like on the show.
Yeah, like,
Well, I mean,
'cause-
sometimes we don't. If you notice, if you watch the trajectory of how we're starting to talk, sometimes Nori loses focus. Sometimes I lose focus. I mean, I just think that sometimes becomes part of it, the character of Drink Champs, like seeing where this goes with the liquor. But there's shows where we're not even really drinking that much, or the guest doesn't drink at all, which I actually love those episodes, because I love for the audience to see a sober guest. Let's just say we're drinking and they're not. For them to see someone that doesn't have to drink and can still participate and have fun with us and still get the same vibe, and they're not drinking, I think that's powerful.
okay.
You know?
What's been one of your favorite or most surprising moments on the show there?
Surprising moments.
Yeah.
Well, the Lamar Odom shit was pretty crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Sadat X from Brand Nubian, he threw up in the middle of recording and he was a soldier. He kept going.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like he grabbed a garbage can, he threw up in it, and then he just kept doing the podcast.
All right.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, we're about to celebrate 10 years of Drink Champs, and we're drinking, so I forget a lot of shit that's happened on Drink Champs. I also don't go back and watch Drink Champs after I do it. So I don't think I've ever really sat through a whole episode of Drink Champs.
Is there a reason why you don't do that?
I do that. Well, nobody wants to see themselves drunk.
No, I got you.